The toys of the 1980s were some of the coolest and most valuable of most eras. Are you an 80s kid who hasn't been able to part ways with some of your favorite toys? What if I told you there was a way to make money off your nostalgia? You might want to open up your basement and look out for the rare toys you may have stored away. Welcome to the America's Trip Down Memory Lane channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about some toys from the 1980s that can make you good money. My Buddy Doll. First on our list is the My Buddy Doll, a handmade doll made by Hasbro in 1985. My Buddy was a miniature human-like figure dressed in a colorful t-shirt with cute overalls. It was created to teach young boys the value of friendship and sentiment. However, over the years, it has been associated with something completely unexpected. My Buddy Doll became one of the main inspirations for Chucky. Chucky was an evil toy adopted from Child's Play. It was a horror movie created in 1988, and it's pretty ironic how a friendly doll like My Buddy Doll inspired the production of something like Chucky. As a result, it is practically impossible to look at My Buddy the same way. However, some people who grew up in the 1980s still understand the nostalgic value of Buddy. In 2003, a hip-hop rap group featuring top rappers like 50 Cent released a song dedicated to this doll. If you still have a My Buddy doll, you'd be pleased to know that some people are willing to pay as high as $350 for it on eBay. Thundercats Lion-O action figure. The Thundercats Lion-O action figure was an adaptation of the classic animated TV series Thundercats. The target audience loved the first series, which launched in 1985. That is, the kids. And because of how well it did, the show was renewed for new seasons. Perhaps the kids' favorite Thundercats moment was when action figures were released. The most popular action figure was that of the protagonist, Lion-O. The show was about a group of cat aliens who were hiding from their enemies and trying to protect the legendary Sword of Omens. Lion-O encounters a big problem on this quest. A capsule malfunction, causing his body to age, and his mind remains very immature. The series shows the adventures of Lion-O, and it's easy to see why he's everyone's favorite. Action figures of this character and other main characters were released in the mid-1980s by LJN Toys. The sales were a huge success, and even after 40 years, when these toys are no longer being produced, people are still willing to pay $1,000 for them. Polly Pocket Sets. A number of new Polly Pocket sets have been released since Bluebird Toys released the first one in 1989. As tiny as this set is, it can fetch you a lot of money, and if you sell it on the right place, you can even earn more money from it than newer models. This older version was created with various sets including castles, dollhouses, cottages, and others. These sets were shaped like tiny powder makeup cases, and on the inside, there were many tiny figures relating to the general theme, each one not bigger than just an inch. Kids loved these toys in those days, and they remained popular until 1998 when Mattel took over Bluebird. From then on, the toys produced were rebranded, and Polly Pocket sets were made on a larger scale. Slowly, the original miniature ones became scarce. Although the brand still makes nice toys for kids, the 80s and 90s kids still value the classic Polly Pocket sets. And if you're a hoarder and still have some of these sets, you can sell them for up to $500, as far as all the pieces are still complete. My Little Pony Generation 1. This is yet another Hasbro toy in our list. The company released My Little Pony Generation 1 as an extension of the My Pretty Pony franchise released in 1981. The earlier dolls released under this franchise were large 10-inch ponies, which did not appeal to the kids as much as the company had hoped. To resolve this issue, Hasbro launched My Little Pony the following year in 1982. As you can tell from its name, My Little Pony was a line of smaller ponies, and unlike its predecessor, it was hit within a year of its release. What made them so exciting was the wide variety of the toys that was released. There were unicorns, sea ponies, and Pegasus. They came in a wide range of colors, and on top of that, they were easy to acquire. They also had attractive names like Cotton Candy, and each toy had a special cutie mark on its flank. This line was obviously targeted at girls who grew up in the 80s, and while Barbie dolls are amazing, My Little Pony toys were every girl's dream. In the spirit of nostalgia, some people are willing to buy these dolls for $2,000 on eBay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. The TMNT franchise has been golden since the 1980s, and the fans' love has been growing ever since the first comic was released in 1984. Even back then, it was impossible not to fall in love with 4 weird turtles who loved pizza more than martial arts and their rodent sensei. After the first couple of episodes, the earliest action figures of the Ninja Turtles were produced, and people loved them then as much as we love ours now. Maybe even more because some of the super rare action figures from the 80s are being sold on eBay for as high as $6,000. After 4 animated series, dozens of games, 6 feature films, and concert tours around the world, the appearances of the turtles have evolved over all these years. We can all agree that they look better now, but in this case, old is gold, and since old is super rare, old is also very expensive. So if by chance you have one of these old TMNT action figures, you might want to consider making good money off of it. Dungeons & Dragons toys. The Dungeons & Dragons franchise started in the 1970s, however the first action figures were released by LJN Toys in 1983, and the fans loved them. The first release featured 19 figures, including both heroes and villains, and since then LJN has held off on releasing new sets of action figures from the series. Originally, one figure cost about $4, but as of 2019, one of them was sold for up to $400 on eBay. While a boxed version containing all 17 figures in perfect condition cost between $1,500 and $2,000, some unreleased prototypes, for example, the Behir monster figure, were selling for $2,000. In 2019 as well. For over 4 decades, LJN was secretly working on releasing advanced Dungeons & Dragons figures, and the set released last year was quite a comeback. However, when it comes to merch from classics, original pieces are considered more valuable than the subsequent updates. For this reason, people will continue to pay thousands of dollars for the original figures of Skyla, Kelek, and others. Original Star Wars action figures. Of all the toys produced in the 70s and 80s, Star Wars action figures have to be one of the most sought after to date. For over 4 decades, the Star Wars franchise has expanded throughout all possible media platforms, from movies to books and merch. Even after all these years, the franchise has remained one of the most popular out there. As the years pass, a new generation of merch and action figures are being produced, but people have picked up a special interest in the original ones. Most people want the original models of toy sabers and the first figures of Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Master Yoda, and other awesome characters. On eBay, some people are so desperate to own one of these treasures that they're willing to pay up to 10 grand for these action figures. Even random figures like droids or other background characters can attract a few $1,000s. So even if you don't have any of the original toys, it is advisable to invest in new action figures because 40 years from now, people will want to pay 10 grand to own a figure from, say, the new Andor series. We can't possibly name all the toys from the 80s that still have a high value. Others that were not mentioned in our list include the Cabbage Patch Kids dolls, the rare Pez dispensers, the original Transformers Optimus Prime, the vintage toy cars called Red Lions, the big plastic Zanny Zappers, and many more. Because of how rare it is to acquire one of these treasures, it is wise to invest in them, especially since their value is expected to keep increasing. All you need is the right platform and the right buyer, and you're sure to make a few $1,000s. Thank you for watching. Hit us up in the comments section and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos.